Well, this old backyard was just covered in ice and snow. We've had a little bit of warmer weather, and last night we got an awful lot of just deluges of rain anyway. But most of the ice and snow is gone. A little bit of ice left there, a little bit there, tiny little bit there, a little bit of a snowbank up there in the telephone company yard there. But anyway, it might still be winter, but it's definitely got spring on the way. So I'm going to go in the shop today and do something I should have done a long time ago. Put some lights on in here. I'm going to repair this old grinder and buffer. Alright. Well, what are we going to do with that? I've been using that for nearly 42 years. It was worn out when I got it. I hooked the old wash machine motor up to it and the belt, and I've been using it ever since. Every time I polish up a set of engine cases, it goes on that machine. But the only trouble is the bearings are bad in it, or not the bearings. So I have replaced the bearings before. It's the shaft that's worn out. You can put new bearings on a worn out shaft, and you still got too much clearance. So I'm gonna make a new shaft for this thing. But first thing you do, get it all apart, and I'll show you how I get along doing this. So stand by, and welcome back to the shop. Okay, before I get started taking that old buffer apart, there was just a couple of things I wanted to mention, and I do want to apologize for this not being a directly motorcycle related video, although that old buffer is something that I use every day when I'm working on bikes, whether I'm cleaning up an old nut or a bolt or polishing cases or whatever. I use it all the time, and it's really about time to do it. And I have a little period now where I don't have any bikes in the shop at the moment. The old blue bike went home, I think it was last weekend, so it was kind of bittersweet to see that on the back of Mike's truck. But anyway, I hope it doesn't give him any trouble when he goes to get it out on the road for that maiden voyage. I don't think it will, but like I say, yeah, with these old things, when you put something back together from a pile of from a truckload of parts, you just don't know for sure what you're going to be up against when you put them back in. Anyway, this period has also given me some time, as I mentioned before, to work on a few other things. Other than that old buffer, here's something I'm working on. I made up a couple of these miter gauges for my old, and I mean old, table saw. I've been using homemade wooden ones in here for years, but I just bought another one of these for my son just a few days ago. He's taking a carpentry course, and he's gathering up tools to have in his own little workshop. So anyway, he didn't have a miter gauge with that one I bought him either. So I made two of these, and now I'm going to repair that old buffer. So like I say, I've got time. The old blue bike, the Triumph pre-unit bike, has gone home with Mike. I'll show you a little picture of that when this little clip is done. And that was kind of bittersweet, but to watch it go. But anyway, it's gone home where it belongs, and I know that some other motorcycle work is going to come in here real soon, and I was going to have a little Honda in here actually, but that didn't pan out because the guy that owns it got it running himself, and that was really great. There's nothing like the satisfaction of putting something together from a bunch of parts and getting it running all by yourself. So bravo Zulu to him, and the bike looks great. It's a It's a little CB175 with a CD Honda tank on it. So it looks kind of like a little version of a black bomber or something. It's a really pretty little bike. So I wish good luck to him. And like I say, I may be working on some of my old bikes, getting them ready for the spring and the riding season this year, because I do have to do a little bit of maintenance on a few of them. And I'm sure that I'm going to have some other ones coming in for shakedown rides and that sort of stuff. So anyway, without further ado, let's get going with that buffer. Okay, it's a simple machine. Excuse me, get the hiccups. Anyway, just took that guard off of there. And I'm taking the grub screw out that holds it fully to the shaft. And with any luck, I should be able to push that shaft right on under there. Yeah, I need a little bit of help with a hammer here. I'll put another one alongside the actual Arbour, so I don't knock it off the wall. There's a reason for that being so tight coming in through those bushings. Yeah. It's because the shaft right here, where the bushings are, is worn and this part isn't. So, anyway, here's a little pulley right there, just a simple little affair with a grub screw hole in it. Anyway, there's a lot of black fluffy stuff from the wheel. Here's some that I've already pulled out. It looks like a mouse's nest from the Adams family's house or something like that. There's still quite a little bit in there. A couple of spacer washers that fell out. So there's the old belt. Just set that up there for now. Yeah. Anyway, those are good oil-like bushings. They ain't as tight as they were on that shaft. I'm wondering if I even need to make new ones up for it. Anyway, in the meantime, just wipe this off. And we'll just take a set of verniers or a micrometer or something and we'll measure that up. Let's grab up my cup here and see what we can get on that. Okay. This part of the shaft says it's 557. This part, that's 580, so it's 7th thou looser than it should be there. Oh, even worse here, 7th thou, 7, 5, 12, 12th thou looser here on this side, so, yeah, you know, there's all kind of, you could build this up, I suppose, with weld, but the effort that it would take to do that, I'll just grab a nice fresh piece of steel and just make a new shaft for that old thing. I did have a hunk of stainless. The darn stuff is so difficult to machine. It's one of those grades, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this one here, yeah, I think I'll replace this with a nice, just a nice cold roll steel shaft or something. And, it's better than mild steel at least, anyway. So anyhow, I'm gonna go see what I can locate for metal stock and about making a new one of those. I'm just making some light cuts here. I don't want to go too heavy here because, well, I want to get this exactly perfect, or as perfect as as I can get it. So right now I'm only cutting about a 40 thou cut here. So anyway, I look up here to this end down to 1/2 inch. I'm bringing this one down to the size of the main part of the shaft. Okay, got that down to 590 thou across this larger diameter. Why the odd size? It's a little bit oversized because I want to ream those old bushings just slightly. That way I should get a nice perfect fit on them. And yeah, I'll be starting from fresh again. So yeah, so now all I got to do is part this off here, turn it around, and step that down to 1/2 inch to take the buffing wheel and the wire wheel, and then cut threads in it, and I should be all set to put it back together. Okay, there we go. Got this section here all turned down nicely, and this area right here, it's about 1.25 inches, maybe 1.125 inches. But that's where I'm going to cut my 1/2 inch fine thread on. So I've got my nice threading tool all sharpened up and in the tool holder, so I'll swing that around to the right angle and start cutting threads. So, got one nut screwing on there just perfectly. I almost call that close to an A-class fit. That's a really nice fit. Screws on by hand, but doesn't fall together. Alright, now I gotta go find that nut. Anyway, I'll turn this around, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, there's the old shaft right there. See, she's all mangled up from where the grub screw used to hold the pulley in the middle of it. Anyway, I have ground a little flat area in this new shaft here, to give that a little bit better purchase than running on a round shaft. So anyway, yeah, okay, I got that to fit in those old bushings, and my intention was to ream the bushings out to fit the new shaft. Now I have a collection of adjustable reamers, and I was sure I had one that was going to work for these bushings. The only problem was one was just a little bit too large and the other one was just a little bit too small, so I wound up having to hand scrape those bushings out about 5 thou more to get that new shaft in there. Anyway, I should have done a little clip of this thing running before I took it apart, because this thing used to sound like an old DC-3 getting ready to take off from the runway up in Tuktoyaktuk or something. But anyway, let's turn it on now. We shouldn't get any surprises, and it should run nice and quiet. Yeah, I should have done this years ago. Anyway, I'm going to put the guard back on over that old belt there so it doesn't cause any problems. And yeah, that should be good for another 41 years or so. Okay. I can actually carry on a conversation while that thing's running now. So anyway, good for another 41 years. And if I'm still around in 41 years, I'll be awful old. Anyway, if you like this series of clips, please click like. It'd be nice if you could subscribe. And if you want to leave some comments on the silly stuff I work on, go ahead. I should be getting another motorcycle in here pretty darn soon. Anyway, I believe I mentioned that on one of my last videos. But anyhow, in the meantime, be good to each other, and I'll be seeing you next time.